Greetings, students. Welcome to my class. Students, today we will do the third chapter of your English textbook, First Flight, and the name of the third chapter is Two Stories About Flying. And it is divided in two parts. His First Flight, which is written by Liam O'Flaherty, and the second part is Black Aeroplane, which is written by Frederick Forsyth. Students, before we go on, we read this before you read. Since the earliest times, humans have dreamt of conquering the skies. Here are two stories about flying. A young seagull afraid to fly. How does he conquer his fear? Second part. A pilot is lost in storm clouds. Does he arrive safe? Who helps him? So the first part name is his first flight. But before we go on with the first part, I would like to tell you something about the author of the first part, his first flight, Liam O'Flaherty. Liam O'Flaherty was born on August 28, 1896 in Inishmore, Arran Islands, County Galway in Ireland. He was an Irish novelist and short story writer whose works combine brutal naturalism, psychological analysis, poetry, and satire with an abiding respect for the courage and persistence of the Irish people. He was considered to be a leading figure of the Irish Renaissance. He was died on September 7, 1984 in Dublin. So this was the brief introduction of the author. Now I would like to tell you a brief introduction of the first part, his first flight. His first flight by Liam O'Flaherty tells about the need for courage and self-confidence to overcome fears in life. A young seagull looked desperately at the vast expanse of water that stretched before him. His parents, brothers, and little sister had flown away and left him alone on the rock. There was no food and he was hungry. He couldn't fly. Many times he had tried to run forward to the brink of the ledge and flap his wings, but he was afraid and felt that his wings wouldn't support him. Despite making countless efforts, his parents couldn't persuade him to make an attempt to fly. He was starving and felt that he would die if he did not get any food. He saw his mother tearing a piece of fish with her beak. When he cried out to her, she just screamed back mockingly. Then he saw his mother approaching him with food and was very happy. But she stopped at a distance. He was very hungry, so he dived at the fish. His mother flew upward and he started falling. He was terrified for a moment, but then he realized that he was flying. In this way, he made his first flight. So, students, this was the brief introduction of the first part of this chapter, his first flight, or you can say this was the short summary of the first part of this chapter, his first flight. Now, we will do the detailed explanation of the chapter. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. Young seagull here means, the bird of sea. That's why the name is seagull. And the bird of the sea's kid, he was all alone on his ledge. Ledge, you must have seen a very high mountain or rock, the part stretched forward, that is called ledge. And his two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. He was not able to fly with them. He was very afraid. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. Somehow, just he managed to take take a little run towards the brink of the ledge. The brink of the ledge here means the end part of that ledge and attempted to flap his wings. He became afraid. Flap here means the movement of the wings when he tried to fly, when he somehow he took a little run and ran towards the ledge brink of the ledge, and then when he reached toward the brink of the ledge and tried to you know fly with his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. There was great expanse. Expanse here means large open area, and in front of him, downside that ledge, it was a way wide, large open sea down beneath that ledge, and it was such a long way down. It was really, really very down, very deep, miles down. कई किलोमीटर गहरा पे समुद्र फैला हुआ था. उस वजह से वो डर गया और उड़ नहीं सका. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. He was sure, and he felt that my wings will definitely support me when I will try to fly. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. He realized that definitely my wings will not support me when I will try to fly, and he was so unhappy, depressed, sad, demotivated that he bent his head. उसने अपने सर को झुकाया and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. और उस होल में जहाँ पे वो सोता था उसकी तरफ भागा और उस रात को वो वहाँ पर सोया. Even when each of his brothers and sister even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away. He failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. Here, the author is saying that, and the seagull is also saying that his brother and his little sister, whose wings were shorter than him, they managed to run to the brink, flapped their wings, they opened their wings, did the movement of their wings and flew away. और वो उड़ गए दूर. छोटे पर होने के बावजूद भी उसके भाई बहन उड़ गए. उन्होंने ब्रिंक कोन उस लेज के कोने पर पहुंचकर अपने पंखों से उड़ान भरने में कामयाब रहे. And he was unsuccessful in that. He failed to muster up courage to take that plunge, and he was failed to muster up. Muster up here means to collect courage. साहस नहीं जुटा सका to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. Plunge here means jump, drop, or fall suddenly with force. To fly he needed a short run up, and then he needed that dive, that drop or fall with the force, and he was failed to connect that courage to take that dive, and that's why he couldn't fly. So his younger siblings managed to take their first flight despite they were having the shorter wings than him, but he couldn't summon up, he couldn't collect the courage, though he tried so desperately. बहुत ही ज़्यादा उत्सुकता से उसने ट्राई किया, लेकिन he was failed in doing that, and he couldn't even move. His father and mother had come around, calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away, but for the life of him he couldn't move. His parents, his father and mother, they had come around calling to him. उसके पास भी आए थे, उसको बुलाने आए थे. The shrilly here means loud, unpleasant sound, scold, and they were scolding him, and they were giving him the threat that he will die with hunger. Starve here means die or suffer with hunger, and they will not give him any food on his ledge unless he flew away. जब तक वो उड़ने की कोशिश नहीं करता, they will not give him any food. but for the life of him, he couldn't move. But he was so much afraid. He thought and that my wings will not support me, and he was afraid of vast open sea in front of him, and he was so afraid and he couldn't even move. Now the second paragraph we will read. That was 24 hours ago. यह 24 घंटे पहले की बात है, एक दिन हो चुका है. One day had happened to this incident. Since then nobody had come near him. तब से लेकर अभी तक उसके पास कोई भी नहीं आया है. And the day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight. Perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. This thing happened one day before, and the day he's talking about the day before, he's talking about yesterday's experience, what he saw the day before. All day long what he saw the all yesterday, he had watched. उसने अपने parents को देखा. What they were doing, they were taking care of the brothers and sister, and his brothers and sister, and they were teaching them, they were making them perfect in the art of flight, how to flight, teaching them how to skim. Skim means to move lightly just above a surface, the waves, and how to dive for fish. So yesterday, the day before, he all the day he saw that his parents were taking care of his brother and sister, making them perfect in how to in the art of flight, how to fly, how to, and they were teaching them how to just move lightly just above the sea, and how to catch the fish. He had in fact seen his elder brother he has in fact seen his elder brother catch his first herring and devour it standing on a rock, while his parents circled around, raising a proud cackle. He didn't even see this only. In fact, he saw that his brother caught his first fish, a soft finned herring. Here means a soft finned fish, and devour it. And after catching that fish, he was standing on a rock while his parents circled around, raising a proud cackle. Cackle here means laugh in a loud way, and they were praising of that thing which his brother had done. His brother had caught his first fish, first soft fish, and he was enjoying that, and his parents were making a laugh in a loud way. And all the morning the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. And all the morning the whole family, and उस पूरी सुबह, it's in the whole morning the whole family, his parents, his two brothers and sister, had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff. And they were his whole family was in front of, there was another cliff in front of that cliff where he was sitting, and his family was sitting in front of him, and the whole family was taunting him with his cowardice. Cowardice means lack of bravery. They were taunting him, they were teasing him that he is a coward, he doesn't have the guts to fly. So students, I think it is enough for today. We will continue this chapter tomorrow. In the next video I will give you an assignment to do related to these two paragraphs, and everybody has to do that assignment. So be ready for the assignment. Thank you.